black pants and this long ass shirt. But I'm with you. I feel you. I hear you. But please, whoever is up here, at least let them speak. But I'm telling you, they didn't come here for no agenda because they don't know what the agenda is. They don't know what the agenda is because soon as you go to your agenda, they're going to start yelling because they need to speak. Thank you.
I get it. I truly get it. The young people need a platform. And that's exactly what we're trying to provide them.
No, we need justice.
Platform. Now, listen, young man. Listen, I understand you guys are angry, man. You're angry. All right? But real talk. Let's be real. Let's be real. Because we're trying to come up with solutions. All you guys want to do is come out and yell and fuss and fight. Listen, man. I've been there, done that. You can't yell better than me. You can't cause more ruckus than me. I've done that. All you guys are doing is getting mad. You get mad at the wrong people.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being mad. You think I got right out. I was mad as hell when I had to watch that tape, that video. I couldn't watch it. I watched it for about a minute and a half, and I got away. I turned it off. But what the hell is that going to do, man? Because I'm mad.
You know something?
I'm mad. I'm going to get out here, yell, and get everybody else excited because I'm mad. It doesn't do anything. What we're trying to do is provide you a platform where we can come up with some viable solutions. Some sustainable solutions. The yelling, the screaming, you're not even from here. No, wait, let me tell you. Wait. I'm that guy, guys. I'm that guy. My father was killed on 14th Regina. You heard me? My father was shot and killed on 14th Regina. So you want somebody got a reason to be mad? I've had 3 or 4 cousins murdered out in the streets. I got a reason to be mad. I got a mom that got beat on by a man. I got a reason to be mad. But what the hell is that going to do if I'm not trying to solve it? If I'm not trying to fix it? I tell you how I fix it. I tell you I fix it by having 25 years working in this community, helping build these kids up. That's how I fix it.
That's right,
I don't
Coach.
want to hear all that bullshit.
That's right, Coach.
I'm providing a platform.
That's right,
You
Coach.
yell more than I do. You ain't done more work than I've done.
Yeah, that's right, Coach.
All right, so here, the only thing I'm asking you guys, all right, I was you at one time. I was mad as hell. I needed a reason to vent. I wanted to fight. I wanted to shoot. I wanted to hustle. I wanted to do it all. Anything I could do to get me away from my reality. It's time for us to face our reality. There's no such thing as trauma-informed care.
That's a lie.
Trauma-informed care is the way we live every day. That's trauma-informed care. How do you get by it? You get by it by investing. By guys like me coming back, guys like him coming back, guys like Officer Carter. Real talk, man. When I was young, I didn't like Officer Carter.
I don't like that trauma-informed care.
I told him
like
that.
He don't know
I
that.
told
He
him.
don't know about that.
When I was 16, 17, I couldn't stand that man. Every time he came around, he made me sick. But I tell you what he did. I tell you what he did and what more police officers need to do.
Come on.
Here's what he did. Officer Carter, when I went to college and I came back, Officer Carter was at the high school. And he was in the weight room lifting weights. And he was teaching my young men, my students, how to work out. We need you guys, honestly, to come up with some solutions. Stop getting mad. Let's come up with some solutions.
Their plan for justice.
All right, so moving right along. We have a great author from the area.
Yes.
Beautiful black women. Beautiful black women coming up. Miss Julia Mallory, Black Mermaid, y'all. Give a round of applause for Miss Julia Mallory.
I love you too.
Respect her space.
Let her speak. Let her speak.
It's okay. So the truth is uncomfortable and inconvenient, amen?
Yes.
I'm not here to talk down to folks. I think as Ms. Doreen said,
She said that this is the biggest youth turnout that she's seen, but I think if we're honest, we have to acknowledge that young people have been on the front lines of movement. I think we're uncomfortable with rage, but I don't think it's unjustified.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think when we say we want youth to have solutions, then I think that means we need to honestly listen to folks. So really the reason why Ralph asked me to speak to y'all is because yesterday marked the 3rd year since my son Julian, 17, took his last breath. And I'm saying that to y'all to say that violence in our community looks a lot of different ways, right? So I don't want to talk down to young people. I don't want to, because reality is, it's violent to have our kids in substandard schools. It's violent. What are, like right now, we about to go into the summer. What are our kids going to do for employment? What are we going to do to keep our kids off the street? And I don't want to minimize the work that people are doing, because there are definitely organizations that are out here in our community working. And I think this is an opportunity. What do things like this do? It gives us a chance to see who the folks are who are out here working and who you can, I don't even want to say align yourselves with, because I think we got to be very careful in understanding that some of us don't want the same things, right? Some of us don't want the same things for the same reason. And so if young people are saying, this is what I need to feel healthy and safe and loved in this community, then we have to listen to that. Listen, I don't know, like, to me, folks, I know this is gonna be uncomfortable for some people to hear, but in this type of moment, folks yelling and being full of righteous rage, as hard as that is for us to see, like, this is what rallies, honestly, like, rallies bring people together. They give us an opportunity to see who's who in our community. They give us a chance to see who we could possibly work with. So I just say this to say, young people, I'm proud of y'all for taking a stand, for marching, for being willing. I mean, we still literally in the throes of a pandemic, like risking your lives to be out here, to be seen and to be heard. And I think at the end of the day, if we're talking about platforms and solutions, then we gotta be willing to listen to folks, even when they say some things that's hard for us to hear. Or understand. So I think I'm saying that to say, folks are not out here just to be seen. Like, folks are out here because they're really trying to make a difference.
Right.
And so if people are saying, this is the source of my harm, we gotta honor that. We gotta honor that. And so I just say, I'm here standing, just out Harrisburg. I've been here my whole life, born and raised. You know, I don't live that far from here. I've always loved this city. And I just think about, you know, my son was a member of Breaking the Chains, an organization that Lamont Jones has also worked with. And he was interviewed the year of his death by his mentor, Kevin Dolphin. And in that interview, Kevin is asking him to respond to the violence in our community. And Julian said, right? He's talking about, it's not lost on young people like him and like you, that it's young people like you. And if we can't figure out how to save a whole generation of people, because I think, and I'm gonna say this, even as his mom, even as a parent who has not always gotten it right, that's probably, not probably, literally still making mistakes. I say this to say it's easier for me to punch at y'all as it is to me to punch upwards and saying, I did not make a better place for y'all. And so until we can be honest about that, adults, I love y'all, I know y'all mean well. But if y'all saying our kids are hurting, like, what they supposed to do with that hurt? Like, do y'all really believe that, or is it just something we say? When we say we listen to young people, do we really believe that, or do we just say that because that sounds like the right thing to say?
Sound like the right thing to say.
Like, come on. I'm constantly, like Baldwin said, to be a Negro in this country is to be in a constant state of rage. Like, constant. Some days I still make space for joy and for happiness and could be in tears and still try to come out and be with my folks. But I'm saying, like, the rage, it gotta go somewhere. And I do believe in being organized, y'all. I do believe in studying. I believe in researching. I believe in knowing what worked, what didn't work. But we're not also elders. Elders, we're not going to keep saying to folks, oh, this is what you got to do. Like, we don't have a whole long history of how it has not worked. So what we going to do? Like, we have to be honest about that. And that's the only thing I'm saying. Like, we're not ever going to be able to work together if we can't tell the truth to each other. It's just literally that simple. So I love y'all. I want y'all to be safe. Young people, I want y'all to be safe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not here to talk down to y'all. My peers, my elders, like, we gotta really make sure that we include young people in building a world that is for them.
Yes.
And so, that's it. I can see my time, and thank you, Ralph, for having me.
Give a round of applause again for Julia sharing her truth, man. She just shared her truth, man. It's not always easy to do that. You gotta understand, it's not always easy to do that. So we have another citizen coming up that wants to share her truth with you briefly, a story that she had to overcome in her life. Miss Elizabeth Hall, y'all. Give a round of applause.
Oh, I know her from Facebook.
Hi, a lot of people here may know me from Uptown.
Family Dollar.
Family Dollar. All right, I was store manager for Family Dollar on Dairy Street.
Save a lot.
Save a lot. Okay.
I start
So
crying
I
out
know a lot of these faces because you came into my stores.
Yes.
You are in the same neighborhood as I am because I live uptown on Moore Street. All right, so I'm in the hood. Okay.
Right, absolutely.
All right. Now I'm here to talk about my baby. This is my Michael.
God loves you.
And see, isn't he a handsome man? Right? When I found out I was pregnant with him, my mother said to me, well, what are you going to do? Well, I mean, I'm going to have a baby. And she said, but he's going to be black. And I went, he's going to be my black baby. You know? And he always has been my black baby. Right? This is my heart. My family looks like my son. I don't know any different anymore.
Right.
But the very first time, I used to work at Rite Aid. It was a Sunday evening. I had that evening off. So I wasn't there. And I lived virtually across the street from where I worked. I got a call from one of my coworkers saying, you have to hurry up and get over here. Hurry up. The police are beating up your son. Like, what? I knew it. I just talked to him like 30 minutes ago. He was at his friend's. He went over to Rite Aid thinking I was working. And when he was in Rite Aid, he went up to the door. It was closed because they were changing signs for the sales. The next thing you know, he was being tackled, beat up by the Harrisburg Police Department. They were looking for somebody who had robbed somebody from the Midtown, stole his phone, stole some money. But the guy had blonde hair, blue eyes, and was white. All right? Does that look like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man to you? No, it does not. All right? I came running over, found my son handcuffed sitting on the curb, and the very first time I have ever in my life heard, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Mama, I can't breathe. And I said, where's your inhaler? It's in my pocket. They won't give it to me. And he's like talking like this. I can't get it. And he's trying to reach around to get it. I go over to get it and I get yelled at. Well, fuck y'all. I'm getting my son's inhaler and I am going to take care of my child. I said, call an ambulance. Get an ambulance up here. Now my son is bleeding from the face. He's scuffed up on the arms and the hands. They allowed me to give him 2 puffs. After that, I had to stand back. I gave the inhaler to the officer. Next, they said, well, we're taking him downtown, and we have to investigate that. He's being arrested for robbery. And he's going, I didn't do it. He said, can I get one more puff? I still can't breathe. 45 minutes, maybe an hour later, hour and a half later, I'm going to say an hour and a half later, he is coming in my door. What happened? They took the victim down there and said, is that him? Is that him? does that look like the man that robbed you? The man said, no, I told you. It was a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. All right. You know what happened after that? Took him to the emergency department, Harrisburg. Severe concussion. He is blind permanently in his right eye because of that. And you know what? I said we should file a complaint. No, Mom, I'm not going to do that. He was 20 years old. He was an adult. I couldn't make him do that. You have to do that, Michael. No, Mom, because I'll have a target on my back for the rest of my life in this city. And you know what? I am right. This is what happens. This is what happens to our young people, especially our young men out here in the city, out here in Philadelphia, down in Pittsburgh. I'm originally from Chicago, okay? So I know it happens all the time, everywhere. My husband grew up in Harlem. Yeah, so it happens all across our country. But protest, demonstrate. I got pepper sprayed on Saturday. I was the first one to get pepper sprayed, thank you very much.
Go hard.
This old lady I turned around and I was getting the crowd to walk back up Front Street. We were trying to, and Cole and myself and a few other people were putting our bodies between the Harrisburg police officers, the patrol car, and the crowd so nobody would get hurt.
They still gassed you first.
Yeah, and they still got, well, that was the Capitol stormtroopers that came chewing in. And they didn't know. And I'll tell you what, when I turned around, I had my back to the patrol car, and I was getting the crowd. I'm like, everybody that way. So everybody was really starting to move back towards State Street. They came in, and when I turned around and took a deep breath to yell, hey, Cole, is when I got with the pepper spray. He got it with the pepper spray. Other people got it.
Thank you for your
There was no need
service.
for it, but we did it. All right, I want to say thank you very much for everybody. Please be peaceful. And I'm here to work with that man, that man, and that man. I'm here to work so we can change things the way they need to be changed for our children and my grandchildren. Thank you.
Give another round of applause, y'all. Another round of applause from Ms. Liz. So we're going to keep this thing going. Mr. Lamar E. Well.
What's up, Harrisburg? What's up, Harrisburg? I gotta tell y'all, it's amazing seeing everything I'm seeing right here. And for everything that may be going wrong in the world, what I'm seeing in front of my face is what's going right. I'm gonna ask for just a few minutes. I want you just to listen to me, not with your ears, but I want you to hear me with your heart. Is that all right?
Amen.
We know what happened to George Floyd. And it was a travesty. It was murder, you're right. We know that the murderer was there, and I'm going to say the murderer because I respect him too much.
Blue lives don't exist. Man, he got it. It's an occupation.
That's okay. That's all right. But we know the murderer was there, right? We know the murderer, listen here, we know the murderer had 3 other accomplices. That was there as well, right? Right? We also know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we know that there was people there that was filming, right? We know there was innocent bystanders that was there as well, right? But let me tell y'all something. Let me be totally honest with you. Every time that you're at a family reunion, and you have an uncle who, since you've been a little kid, has been using the word nigger like it was regular language, and you never spoke up and said a word, a part of you is there too. Every time that you heard your boss at work make a joke about the Asian, the Jew, and the black man, and instead of telling him he was wrong, you just did that scared chuckle.
Nah, that's a lie.
A part of you was there. You see,
Is he talking to white people?
what I'm looking at right now And I'm gonna tell you even deeper than that.
I'm risking it off.
Every time that you sat at the crib with your mom and dad, and they never used the word white, but they always used the word cracker, you was there too. And the reason why I'm explaining this to you is because there's no way in the world you can jump over those things that are right next to you and get to these people if you're not dealing with the things in your own home. Listen what I'm telling you. Listen what I'm telling you. Listen what I'm telling you. I walked the whole way down here. My man, hold on. The whole way down here. The whole way down here, I rap to you. Right? 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 It's my time now, right? All right.
Let him have the floor.
Let me tell y'all something, man. When I think about what happened in Genesis with the Tower of Babel, everybody wanted to make a tower to reach up to the heaven. I'm telling you anyway, it's mine. They had to make a tower to reach up to heaven. God himself looked over and said, with everybody speaking the same language, with everybody on one accord, with all hearts and minds in the same direction, there is nothing that they can't accomplish. When I look at this crowd, that's what I see. I see white people, I see black people, I see Spanish people, I see a whole quilt.
Native American people.
Native American, amen. I see a whole quilt of people. But what we don't have is we don't have a common thread drawing us all together. And what I'm telling you is this, we need to find that common thread. This is it. I'm going to tell you something else, man. George Floyd. I want to tell you something else. I want to take the time right now and I want to thank my OG, Gary Follins. Yeah, that's right. When I was young, I had to find an OG because my dad was dead.
Absolutely.
And I thank God for him, and I thank God for what you're still doing today. Even if some of the neighborhood can't appreciate what you're doing, I appreciate what you're doing. I thank God for the governor being here. I thank God for the mayor being here. I thank God for Chief Carter being here. There's a whole lot of other places they could be, but they're here now. All I'm going to tell you is this.
You see that red tent over there?
Continue. Don't let nobody fracture your voices. You understand what I'm saying to you? They've been using things to keep us apart for many years. Race, socio-economical background, and everything else. Don't let nobody else fracture your voice. One voice. You know why? Because this is not solely a black issue, but it's a breakdown of America. It's an American issue. That's why it's going to require every voice in America to make this thing happen. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Amen.
One more round of applause for Mr. March, y'all. One more round of applause. All right, so keeping this train rolling, I'm going to humbly ask Commissioner Carter to come up and grab the microphone. Commissioner Carter, y'all.
I'm scared. Don't leave after, though. Don't leave after. Yeah.
I feel the energy here, positive energy. You see, because you should be speaking out. You should be standing up. What happened to George Floyd and so many of the young black men is an atrocity. It shouldn't have happened, okay? I'm a police officer, and I get to telling you why I'm a police officer. But it had to do with me being young, me watching Martin Luther King standing out there and getting shot and killed. I had a lot of anger built up in me, and I said, what can I do? I said, what should I do? You see, because you can march, you can protest, you can burn, you can loot, but at the end, that energy leaves you. So what do? I'll tell you what you do. You don't stand from the outside looking in, you move from the inside looking out. That's how you bring about change. If you want change, get involved with the system. I cannot tell you that I don't have a police officer who may act up. When I'm home sleeping, I don't know what they're doing, but they have supervisors. I like your sign right there. I like your sign right there. But however, not all police officers are bad. And I guarantee you that before Mr. Floyd probably is laid into the ground, the other officers will also be charged. So, I want to say this here.
What is charged until they're convicted?
It is the criminal justice system. It's a criminal justice system. Just like we're downstairs in front of the Capitol, I don't have control over the criminal justice system. The legislators make the law.
They don't understand.
I want to say this here. I want to say this here.
You gotta vote.
Let no weapon formed against anybody here stop you. That weapon could be psychological, could be suppression, it could be lack of understanding, lack of education, lack of money. If you fall down, get back up. Because my hope is when I decide to leave the occupation that I'm currently in, somebody out there will take my place. Somebody will take my place. We gotta keep feeding the truth. We just can't walk around and just complain. We have to take positive action. And for you, young man, I don't know where you come from, but I'm from Harrisburg. No, you didn't. And you can keep your negativity to yourself. Okay. Thank you, Carter, for that. And coming right up, we have the Secretary for the PA Board of Pardons, Mr. Brandon Flood, y'all. Give a round of applause for Mr. Brandon Flood, y'all. Flood, where you at in the crowd? Another representative of the PA, y'all. This is what the people wanted. We got him right here for y'all. Brandon Flood, y'all.
Plug stir.
Listen, so I know a lot of you are asking, why is the Secretary of Board of Pardons here? What do I have to do with this rally? I'm going to tell you real simple. So we talked about the police, we talked about council, we talked about the decision makers. What my job is essentially what I do is I oversee the clemency process in Pennsylvania. So that's pardons and commutations. So what I do is I get rid of criminal records. I formerly had a criminal record, served 9 years collectively. I'm getting to it. Listen, I'm about to tell you. So the importance of you all keeping this peaceful and being strategic is not getting records, clearing your records so you can become police officers, so you can run for mayor, so you can run for these public officers.
So you can carry guns.
Right, so I'm going to do one better, because there was something said earlier about, hey, these people are open. I'm going to ask you to please be respectful, because I'm giving you resources and direct access to me, which you probably won't get from a lot of these speakers here. So please. So I say, listen, I say that to say is it's important. You guys can contact me for anything you need. You're trying to get rid of your records. You want to be able to go to. You want to get to the. You want to be able to work for the police department. You want to be able to run for office. You talked about the Constitution, Jamal. Jamal talked about the Constitution. One of the things that many of you may not be familiar with is the Constitution prohibits you from running for public office if you have a felony conviction, an infamous crime, which is a felony conviction or a crime in falsifying. So any offense that deals with falsification. So if you are interested in office and you have that prohibition hanging over you, I'm telling you, you can contact me directly so we can work to get that off of you. That's one thing. The second thing, and I'm calling names out, right? I'm I pride myself on my candor, and if I call someone's name out, trust and believe I had a conversation with them privately, probably multiple times, and nothing happened as a result of it. So that being said, who here is mad? Y'all was talking and all that shit earlier. Who's mad here? So I'm going to tell you exactly who you need to be mad at. It isn't the governor. It isn't, I'm about to tell you. It isn't the governor, it's your city council. Listen, stop. I'm going to do a roll call right now. Why is we voting for y'all? Everybody speak. Listen, so everybody speak. I'm going to do a roll call real quick. They can't be held accountable. City council members, raise your hands. Sitting city council members, if you're here right now, raise your hand. Yeah, tell them to come, because ain't none of them here. Ain't none of them here. Let's see.
They are over here.
Tell them step up. How many of you know who the public safety chair is for city council?
They don't know who they voting for. They don't even know these people's names.
A black millennial named Elsa Green.
They don't know these people's names.
That's who you need to direct your energy to. She's elected off. She was elected to that office and has done absolutely zero around this issue. You talk about having creating a citizen review board or citizen oversight board that goes directly through
brought my
council.
students
That
with
could
me.
be. I've had a conversation with the mayor as well as the chief. They're on board. They said that they're waiting for council to give them a bill. So I need all of you to go to Austin Green's page right now. All of the social media platforms, because she is the person whose committee that bill has to come out of. Listen, right, we talked about earlier.
Man, we need to draft the Constitution. We don't need no bills,
Let me finish
them
this last
votes ain't
point.
doing nothing.
Let me finish this last
We
point.
need to vote on a new
Listen, so we
Constitution.
talked about why are we all here? We all should be networking amongst ourselves. We have a current candidate, because I don't believe that they've officially removed it, or you haven't officially lost yet because there's still online ballots coming in. Sean Quinlan, raise your hand.
Man,
So
tell
Sean
us to get on the
Quinlan
mic.
is an attorney, has a thriving practice, but he ran for district attorney. He runs for every office that's open because he wants to be a decision maker so he can better everyone's out here's
Man, we
lives.
talking
Not
about
because he needs
police
the money.
discrimination.
So hold on, he did.
Police discrimination.
Listen, Sean
That's
didn't
what
get
we're
in.
talking about.
Listen, Sean didn't get in.
What are y'all
But
talking
we
about?
talked about this being resource driven, right? So let me tell you what
Talking
Sean
about
is
police
offering.
discrimination and
Sean
changing
is
the laws for
offering
this.
his
That's what
legal
we're talking
services
about.
pro bono for any
Wouldn't the vote
protester
ever
that's
work towards
arrested.
it?
Sean, raise your hand again so people can see.
When did a vote ever work towards it?
So these are the people that you need to align yourself with. You guys said, yeah, Sean didn't get in. Sean didn't get in. That don't mean we should stop. That means we should be strategic and start planning 4 years ahead. 4 years ahead. So I'll end on this note. As I said, I'm very accessible. Brandon Flood. Email is bflood@pa.gov. I want to be able to lift any burden that is currently preventing you from being able to make your voice even louder. Whether that's you want to be a state rep so you can directly defend the Constitution.
Ever. I
or if
never
you wanna be
defend
a
that
police officer
Constitution.
because you
It
feel
need
like
to
the
be
clerk
written
force is
over.
doing its job.
We standing
So
on
thank-
something
and
from
lastly, I
1700.
want to thank Gary
That shit need to
Falling.
be written over.
Got it. You're right.
Right.
Constitutional
They
convention.
did it when they added 13,
So,
14,
lastly, I
and
want to thank
15.
Gary
Know
Falling
your laws.
and Ralph Rodriguez for convening this
We
event.
standing on something in Pennsylvania.
Thank you,
A whole
man. Give a
different
round of
concept.
applause for Brandon Flood, y'all, once again.
A whole different
So as promised, we're going to have different aspects. We'll be playing that. We're going to have different aspects of our people together, and that also includes education. So I'm going to bring the president of our school board, the Harrisburg School Board, to the front, Mr. Brian Carter. Brian Carter, where you at? Come to the front, y'all. Give a round of applause for Brian Carter, y'all. Where's Brian? There we go. President of the Harrisburg School Board, Brian Carter, y'all.
Hey, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Your efforts to come out here and stand for an injustice system, I commend it. I've seen a lot of familiar faces over the past week because I've been out protesting with you guys. And I want to say that I thank y'all. The moment that you begin to be silent is the moment that you settle. And us as a black community, we do not settle. Most importantly, when we speak about individuals, every elected official should have their asses out here. They should have had their asses out here from Friday, from the time that this protest started until now.
That's right.
We have community meetings that have been empty from community shooters and stuff like that. You don't see many council members, you don't see many elected officials out here, period, and that needs to change.
All the
If you guys wanna
organizations,
stand for
bro.
a change,
All
come out
of
here and
them.
take these seats. If you think
All
I'm
them
doing a bad job, come out here and
organizations,
take my seat.
churches, all
Change
of
begin
them.
with us
Hold them
elected
accountable.
officials. Not only that,
Teamsters
we have a moment
organization,
of
all
silence
of
for
them.
Tyrone Gibson.
They
Tyrone
organization.
Gibson was a 14-year-old young male in our Harrisburg school district that was gunned down last week on Wednesday. This got to stop.
Yes.
It has to end, and it ends with us. If you guys need, this ends with us. And it kind of was heartbreaking to hear that we had a 14-year-old lose his life to the streets. Our kids is killing each other. Here in our hometown, and we got to come together to stop it. We got to come together to stop it.
Yeah, tell them we got to do that at home. We do that at home ourselves. Our parents have to start with that. Hold us accountable.
If you are struggling,
Hold us accountable, bro. It has to start at home.
if
The
you are
parents have to
struggling
do it.
financially,
Say it. Don't
if
be
you are struggling
scared.
financially, reach out to us. We
It
work
has
for
to be
y'all.
the parents.
That's the
We
reason
all
why
hold our
we
community
work for y'all.
accountable.
Come out and reach out to us. If you have a child that is
Don't be scared to talk now. Talk that.
if you have a child that is
Parents got to
out
do
there,
it. It all
that
starts
you
at
can't
home.
control, that you can't do
Man,
shit,
everybody
reach out to us.
speaking on every level. He got a microphone.
Fear the least.
At the same time. And
You
as
could
far
just say
as
Anna if it's too
the
much.
protest is speaking with, as far as the protest for Black Lives Matter, how to make yourself effective is July 7th. Make sure that you don't purchase anything. Make them feel the hurt from the black people. Make
Boycott.
them feel your pain. And I want to take a look at
Boycott.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Boycott. Boycott,
Moving right
yeah.
along. We're going to bring up the field of
Boycott.
and rights. Talking about mental illness, y'all.
First, I want to say that I'm in this space as an Afro-Latina, and I want to offer up everything I have inside of me to let you guys know that we're going to get this done, come hell or high water. So as an Afro-Latina, I speak for my Latino community. I speak for my African-American culture. When I say, okay, that's excessive, but I say that to say that I am here and I am representing the people that have joined in solidarity with you guys. If I can get one of you guys to hold my phone or the mic while I do what I do, I'm just going to read here. I'm the nerd, so I have everything scripted. I was told to speak on solutions and things that can get things moving, so I would like to do that. I'd like to apologize in advance for all hurt feelings, but move on unapologetically. I can do it. Gun violence has two faces. Law enforcement gun violence, which focuses on the mismanagement of having governing power, and citizen gun violence, which deals with mismanagement and decision making when you have unproductive governing power. Simply put, we are seeing a clash of two different worlds. A world with too much unchecked power, and a world of people struggling to maintain what little power they have left as crumbs. So let's talk about balancing power through a very simple strategy. Increase funding to what works and decrease funding for programs that don't. I would hate to have my back to you when I'm really speaking to y'all. I'm sorry. To Commissioner Hartwick, Eric Pappenfuss, Patty Kim, and all other stakeholders who pump funding for programs into our community, I charge you to be intentional in your financial support. We should immediately decrease or eliminate any funding for any program that does not show efforts towards African American community development, resilience and trauma-informed care, which does exist, and economic promise to our vulnerable families. Stop funding those who use our population for its bodies without any help in cultivating the youth's mind. Our people must stop being used as lab rats for research that does not return an investment on our community other than $25 giant gift cards from organizations that make thousands off of our statistical truth. But Black people, hear me say this. You must also stop allowing yourselves to be used as lab rats in case studies. We must denounce allyship for the sake of performance and theatrics. Our pain is heavily recorded, but the funding to address those tragic truths is misdirected. Governor Wolf, listen up, you're coming. We must bring in more money for programming that does us the most good and that doesn't require complacency to the welfare or poverty guidelines to qualify. We cannot continue to remain poor and broken in order to qualify for quality programming. We need programming that works in the favor of our mental health, and resilience, not troublesome programming that demoralizes, breaks apart Black and brown families, and sets us back in our attempt to build stronger families. As a community, we must stop signing our name on every dotted line. If a program's aim is to keep you desperate and dying, it is not intended at all to set you free. Break the cycle of keeping yourself comfortably enslaved. Break the cycle of keeping yourself comfortably enslaved. I challenge Chief Carter to extend cultural competency far past 1 or 2 yearly trainings. We demand contracted collaboration between mental health providers, and there are many in the area underfunded, Governor Wolf, and the police department to assess on a continuous basis for implicit bias, racist and oppressive ideologies, and trauma and burnout on your team. We are no longer pleased with just a tip refill. We want it all. I do not need you to take a knee in front of me, Black man. I desire for you to take a stand alongside of me. Dismiss the bad apples in the Harrisburg Police Department. We will stand in solidarity whenever our protection is clear in truth and in action. We need you to govern your force more effectively. Your love for community is obvious, but your position demands more of you to hold your higher oppressors responsible. To Eric Pappenfuss, Mayor Eric Pappenfuss, and Governor Wolf, the fish rots at the head. Everything that you do, everything that you do not do, every vote that you pass, every vote that you dismiss, every cry that is not heard, every cry that is dismissed, is shown in the community's outrage. If you want us to do better, be better. Right. We must demand. This is part. We must demand contractual commitment for collaboration with leadership in juvenile probation, adult probation, CYS, and Harrisburg Police Department to discuss our at-risk youth and adults, so that everyone that holds a space in a home is clear on the best model for change. Systems can no longer work in silos, but receive their check from the same home. Our mentally ill community, which is almost everyone in poverty, must be better managed. We demand crisis training with DSM diagnosis education. These are results. These are results. We demand crisis training with DSM diagnosis education and intervention strategies. Review your use of force policy and make sure it includes a clear distinction on what occurs should we identify aggressive behavior due to mental health symptoms and trauma. Mental health funding is insulting. The next possible solution is to utilize social services, reaching our community already to combat the trauma that leads to untimely death of our youth and ongoing gun violence. Lastly, to white allies, for those of you who just showed up and for those of you who have been here with us, your work must extend outside of performance and rallies. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, but heavy are the shoulders of the people who have carried you thus far. Your voices and passion must extend, because I want them to hear it. Lastly, to white allies, your voices and passion must extend to your homes and your communities and your corporate settings and to your children. Together, collectively, and without excuses, we can reduce violence and bring change to our villages. Thank you.